Shalom unto the nation of Israel. First and foremost, before I get into my lesson, I want to start off giving all praises unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Chodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that teach and rule well today. And salutation also to the fellow laborers that's in the ministry, the company of prophets, and also to the believers that scatter worldwide, that's in the faith, and exalting the names of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Chodash, in all truth and sincerity, day in and day out. Shalom. I'm the brother Shaquat Gabar from the Great Millstone, South Carolina Midlands branch, coming at you with another lesson. And as always, before I get into my lessons, this message or these videos goes out to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which we are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites according to the Bible, and also to the Israelite foreigners that are scattered amongst the heathen nations and that may take on the typical look of another nation. But if your bloodline goes back to Negro, Latino, or Native American descent by the seed of your father, you are considered an Israelite as well. Shalom. So basically, I'm just going to get into a quick video touching on this article, okay, which is off of naturalnews.com. As you can see the title, okay, of the article. And yes, here at Great Millstone, we're going to keep harping on, okay, this prophecy that's soon to come. Because we're here, man. Okay, when it comes to the prophecy of the MOTB, which is found in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. Okay? Especially when, contrary to popular belief, when it comes to these other camps, okay, that's going off saying that the MOTB is not a physical device, okay, that's going to be implemented, man. Okay, and, during the time of biometrics, okay, as they want to implement this device into the people. And now they're coming up with all type of, circumstances or events, okay, that's playing out here on the earth, in the world, that it can bring this whole MOTB situation, okay? Because we know eventually that start with America dollar is on the verge of crashing, and that this world is moving towards a system financially being governed by the way of digitally, okay? That's why now you're seeing all the talks of these CBDCs, okay, central bank digital currencies, okay, all throughout different parts of the regions of the earth, as they're ready to bring forth, once again, that MOTB. And you can see this article, which I'm going to get into, a short article, which was published on the day, okay, Monday, June the 12th of 2023, the hopeful year of all prophecy come to pass. And that's what we're witnessing. Prophecies coming into pass, man. Okay? And, when I read this article, certain words that I'm going to tend to read, I'm going to use like the word blank, okay? And, individuals that's listening can filter it out as I go through the article and, reading certain paragraphs, okay? Because, you bring out certain key words, okay, when it comes to certain articles in your video, the YouTube algorithm, pick it up and they can give you a strike, okay? And that show you also we in the time of the coming of the famine of the word, man, as these devils are being exposed. So when I say these devils, I'm talking about the biblical Edomites, which are the so-called white race, mainly starting with the elites, okay, and on down to the lesser luminary ones, man, that's doing their bidding as they're at the point of want to forge the NWO, man. And when you talk about it, about all their wickedness and what they want to furthermore push and establish, okay, somehow they'll hit you with misinformation, okay, or it's false news, fake news, or it's hate speech. It's to a screen, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get into this article, and I'm going to get a couple of scriptures, and I pray that the lesson be edifying. So once again, this article off the naturalnews.com, and you can see the title. Blank announces launch a digital health certification network. Okay, you see the WHO. Okay, because you can't make too much mention of that now. They'll strike your video. Okay, that's why we use the term who that. Okay, I got that from the elder Yashawamba. Okay, from the Dallas branch. So you can see Blank announces launch a digital health certification network. Will this become the prophecy of the MOTB? Okay, so we coming in that time, man. And they can go about, okay, implementing the MOTB, not just alone off a financial crash or financial woes as the world economy is coming to more of a rapid decline, especially here in America. Because we know about America being in, coming to the time of more and more of a debt, and other countries starting to ditch the dollar. Okay, the BRIC nations, starting with Russia and China. Okay, but besides them using that as a crisis to implement the MOTB, okay, they can use the people's well-being. Okay, look at the situation with the concerns, okay, or the threats due to that wildfire that recently happened over the couple of days ago, over the weekend, or a couple of days ago in Canada. Okay, with that wildfire leaving a bunch of smog or smoke in the air, contaminating the air to the point that it don't reach over here into the Americas, okay, the states, okay, mainly the northern states, okay? And we know these devils got an agenda, and they can use certain crises to implement more agendas, okay, more agendas, more, as a way of psyops, stage events, okay, so they can use those opportunities, okay, to eventually to come with an NWO, which once again we know is going to be spearheaded by the MOTB. And we know what that is, that electronic tag. Okay, all that micro, that C-hip, charisma, which is the Greek word for the M-A-R-K in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. So let me go ahead and get into the article. And it says, on Monday, United Nations World, who that over there, okay, Director General Torres officially announced the launch of his globalist body long await global digitally. Okay, so they show you where the stage is moving towards, man. Okay, a digital system. Okay, through Esau Edom pushing his technology, okay, technocracy, as they want to rule the world under the vibration of technology. Okay, and it says a global digital health certification network, which in many ways look like it could be part of the prophecy of the MOTB. The purpose of this new blank network is to track and limit the movement of people all around the world based on their obedience to the government orders, especially during a public blank emergency. So you see where the stage is moving toward, man. What happened a couple of years ago as this article I'm going to, which there was a test run. Okay, the whole 99 situation, man. Okay, that people took that, the jungle juice, and you see the cause and effect of that. Okay, so how much more were they ready to implement the MOTB on something have to do with public crisis or world crisis? Okay, they're already talking about another pestilence that's going to be worse than 2020. Okay, and then in that way they can bring more lockdowns, strict legislations. Okay, we know martial law is on the book, concentration camps. Okay, constantly taking more of the people's freedom away, which they think they have through their legislations, man, due to the panic of people's well-being. Okay, and it says, during a public emergency, blank emergency, like the Wuhan blank, you can see, when the next P is launched, the blank will be ready and waiting with the new network to control everything. And that's what they want, these elites. Okay, they want total control of the people. And they want to gain the people's trust by bringing in, causing chaos to bring in order, to have people submit. Okay, when anarchy come or a certain crisis take place, and they're there, they have the solution when it comes to the NWO. Okay, which really they want control, total control, man. And it says, it seems as though the blank plan is to use this new network to oversee all buying and selling. That's part of Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, showing you that it's something, okay, that prophecy have to deal with something physically when it comes to financial transition or monetary gain. And it says, commerce in the economy during the next covert global event, whatever that might be. And there are plenty crises they can use, okay, to implement the NWO. Okay, like I say, these wildfires that are taking place that lead into a lot of the air due to, the wildfire smoke contaminating the air. Okay, the as they push into the panic of global warming. Okay, certain natural disasters. As lately now you see all of a sudden these train derailments, innumerable cases, food process facilities being destroyed, the livestock failing, like I say, the economy failing, leading to more food shortages, inflation, products not able to be sold like that in the stores when it comes to the grocery stores, when it comes to the restaurants, certain retail stores, okay, situations like that, which can lead to a domino effect. And it says, during the next convergent global event, whatever that might be, only those who can show digital proof of having obeyed the government obeying the government dictates, whether that be to get another blank or to receive some kind of electronic MC implanted, will be allowed to live. And that's what we're heading to, man. Like I say, the whole 2020 situation was not but a test run. Okay, to see the reaction of the people. Okay, now they're moving farther with their agenda, man. Okay, and it says, never before in history of the world has this taken place, writes Leo Holman, about what already took place during blank, and how next time it would be even worse. It was unprecedented, and yet so few Christians leaders call it out for what it was. Yeah, because these Christians, they don't know nothing, man. And a lot of these Christians start with their religious leaders, okay, that got a certain position. Hey, they sell out to the government, man. Okay, so when they introduced that jungle juice, that's why these churches was pushing it. So how much more when it comes to that MOTB? Okay, and you even had that amongst Israelite camps, telling the congregation to take the jungle juice. Okay, and like I say, a lot of these camps teach against the MOTB being the micro. Okay, such as IUIC, ISUPK, Watchmen for Israel, WFI, Sons of Thunder. Okay, HOI. Okay, a couple of camps to name, or Israelite camps to name, when it comes to they discerning about the MOTB not being the micro, but they saying that it's sin. Okay, and it says, and the only ones that are really pushing it, okay, when it comes to the true understanding of Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, is the men of Great Millstone, and the brethren on down that's in the correct spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, giving that forewarning of what's to come when it comes to that MOTB, being the RFID micro, the C-HIP, or the electronic tag. Okay? that they want to push. And it says, what happened in 2020 and 21 with blank passport was just a drive run for an expanded digitalized ID program that will be global in scope. And that's what you're seeing. All these stores moving towards a digital system, self-checkout lines, where you got the QR codes being pushed in the UK, the digital wallet, Apple Pay, okay? You know, as they're moving towards gradualism and conditioning the people that the physical dollar is basically on its way out, and there might be certain concerns about having it, okay? You remember a couple of months ago, they had all these banks collapsing, people going on bank runs. They're trying to get all their money out of their account, okay? So now they can use certain crises to push forth a digital system and have people to rely on that. So everything is moving towards the stage of the MOTB being implemented, man. And it says, those who don't submit will be singled out as the enemies of the system, therefore a danger to humanity, okay? And that's what it's going to be, okay? Especially the men of Yahweh Shema Shai, okay? Which is the elect. Start with the elect, because only the elect is going to be delivered and not going to take the MOTB, okay? And the elect considered the 144,000 and the 1/3 that's destined to be saved, okay? Because 2/3, according to Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8, hey, they're going to submit and take the MOTB, man, for them not believing in their power, being Yahweh, and the son name being Yahweh Shai, not taking heed to the prophets, the true prophets that's giving them a warning about the MOTB and not to take it. Because those of our people that take it, they're going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction, which is this place, America's final destination, man, at the peak of the Third World War, and also at the time of Yahweh Shai, who the world called Christ's second coming, okay? By the way of the chariots, what the world called UFOs, which are the vehicles of the angels, man, and the salvation of the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, okay? So the 2/3 of our people that take that MOTB, they're going to be destroyed right along with Esau, Edom, and the rest of these heathens on the shore of America, okay? Courtesy to the missiles by, the Lord putting the spin on the Russians, mainly, China, even members of America allies, NATO, okay? And all of those got nuclear capability, okay? This place is going to be totally annihilated by the missiles, and also the chariots bringing fire as well. So that's it on that. Like I say, this article off of naturalnews.com. So you seeing the stage being set, man. Well, a lot of these other Israelite camps playing around and not taking the MOTB serious, okay? And not measuring the times and not giving that stern warning to their congregation, but misleading them, man. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the scriptures. So we see Esau Edom moving at that speed, as they say, on Operation Warp Speed, okay? And because this why. This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Now, word woe means destruction, because that's what time we're coming into. The time of Yahweh Shema Shai bringing judgment here upon the earth, the wrath of the Lord, in the form of plagues, man. Okay? And he's using Esau Edom on the left-hand side to do his bidding, as the Lord bless him with the sword. Okay? Because that's their blessing and how they gain the whole world. Through their sword, their military might, their advanced weapons, their technology, and also their legislations, man. Okay, their agendas. That's why now they starting to more and more hold all these summit meetings. Okay? To talk of their agenda and eventually to put it forth. And all of it is the will of Yahweh Shema Shai, like I say, using Esau Edom through the spiritual demon Satan on the left-hand side, man. As Esau Edom is the physical counterpart of Satan, especially these elites, okay, and those that doing their bidding. And it says, woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you, having a great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. And that devil, okay, in the Greek, diablos, okay, meaning false accuser, slandered, a man. Matter of fact, let me go get that word real quick in the blue letter. Because they ain't talking about a mythic creature, as Christianity think, okay, of a man in hell or a creature in hell, that when people die and they do wickedness, they burn forever and they being punished by a man with horns and a pointy tail, okay, all red. Okay, no, that word devil actually going to a physical person. Let me go there. Revelation 12. Let's go to that word devil. See, that's why you look up words, man. As our apostles and elders, and the bishops always encourage us to do, to bring out a point. As you can see.
Strong's G 1228. Diabolos.
All right, so let's get the information or the definition. And it says, traitors, especially Satan, false accuser, devil, slander. It said prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely, accumulator, false accuser, slander. And it said, applied to a man who by opposing the cause of God may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him. And that's Esau Edom. Okay, acting the part of the spiritual demon Satan. Okay, which the word Satan means adversary. Because everything that Esau Edom does is contrary to the ways of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So it says a man that opposes, that's against the ways of God. Okay, and him implement this MOTB, that's totally against the ways of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Because according to the law, you're not supposed to make any printings in your flesh, okay, cuttings in your flesh. And that's what they want to do when they implement that MOTB. As they want to put it in people's hands or foreheads. And we seen it talk about that whole brain, putting it in people's brains and stuff, okay? So this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. And it says, woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. Yeah, he know he had but a short time. And how do he know that? By the way of the by the way of the prophets being out there, okay, exposing them, this internet exposing them, their wickedness, their agenda. He's seeing he's losing his power. His witchcraft is not working anymore. His enchantments, okay. Because besides Hebrew Israelites, you got certain people waking up to the madness of these elites and calling them out. And that's when the prophets come in at, okay, to get certain information or their agenda that people are exposing them. And we, get a report and interpret it through the scriptures, man, to give that warning. So Esau sees that, okay? He sees the so-called UFOs, the chariots, which you know that they are the angels, okay? So he's coming down with that great wrath. Let me get on. And that's what these elites want to do. As we're at the point of them trying to bring an NWO, and that they want to gather all nations. But the Heavenly Father is with separation, man, division, okay? Contrary to popular belief when it comes to these Christians and majority of these people in the world, where they think the intent of the God of the Bible is to that he's going to gather all nations. No, the Lord only chose one nation unto himself, and that's the nation of Israel. Even though he created all nations, but these nations really was created for our sake, okay, to be our servants. But due to our rebellions, okay, we went off going against the ways of the Heavenly Father and his Son. And now we are being punished here in America, primarily, here in captivity, man. And the curses on us, man. And according to Deuteronomy chapter 28, okay, verses 16 all the way throughout verse 68, man. Okay, so we on the bottom now. But the Lord always had a chosen people, and that was the nation of Israel, in the Old Testament and the New. Because who the world called Christ, Yahweh Shai, came for the nation of Israel, starting with the elect at this time. And that's who the kingdom is for, the nation of Israel. Let me get this. But Esau Edom's agenda, as we're coming to the end of his kingdom, he want to implement his NWO to bring all nations unto himself, and mainly by the way of that MOTB. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 4. And it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. And that's Esau Edom. Okay, once again, he's against the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And that's being proven by his intentions. Okay, that's why the Lord, or the Bible called him, the Bible called him the wicked, okay, in the scriptures, man. And that's clear to see. Okay, if your spiritual eyes are open. And it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Yeah, he's being lifted up. The Heavenly Father, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, got him in a position of rulership. Okay, but through that, he thinking that, through his pride, that he got himself up there. And that he going to continue on to rule through his wickedness and his evil intentions, man. Okay? And he doing it by any means necessary. When they come to them trying to introduce this NWO, and especially when they go to implement that MOTB. And it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. And that's going into the nation of Israel, starting with the elect. Okay, because us are the hopeful elect. We pray Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai to deliver us from the hands of Esau Edom as we're coming in the time of Jacob's trouble, man. Especially deliver us from that MOTB. Okay? And the Lord is going to do that as long as we continue on to do it to the end and we're part of the Lord's elect. Okay? And it says, verse 5, yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. And that's Esau Edom. Okay, his wine represents his philosophies. Okay, his democracy, his politics, his influence on the world. This whole NWO that got the other superpowers when it comes to these heathen nations and league with them to introduce a digital system through these CBDCs. That's part of his wine, man. And ultimately to implement that MOTB. And it says, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and as his death. And that's all Esau known for. To bring carnage, death, confusion. Okay? Mainly by the way of his sword. Because if the philosophies don't get these nations to bow down to him, he want to force them by the way of the sword. Economic hitmen, okay, setting up puppets, different regimes in these other countries to forward their agenda. If you don't play by the rules. And it says, and it cannot be satisfied, but gather to him all nations and heap unto him all people. And that's what they want to do with this NWO. And that article explained, okay, about the who that is over there. Okay, that organization, man. Okay, that's supposed to be for the people's well-being. But now you're seeing that they want to go digitally. And you just now had, a couple of months ago, Joe Biden, the president of America, saying that if any crisis or, situation happen, he giving them all the authority, giving the who that people all the authority, okay? Due to a certain crisis, man. So we seeing all of it adding up when it comes to prophecy. So that's it on that. This is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. And it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievous which they have prescribed. And that's what they're going to come to. Okay? More and more of these crises taking place. Esau, Edom already got executive orders ready to sign off on and put it into the jurisdiction laws, okay, to justify the more to take away people's rights, okay, due to the a crisis, okay, due to events that can be harmful to the American citizens. And we already know a lot of people there's gonna be a lot of people reacting to come against the government, civil unrest, civil war, okay, anarchy. That's why now they ready to implement also martial law. They already got the detention center set up, okay, because they know there's going to be a lot of people that's going to retaliate due to these unrighteous decrees, okay, which it says what? They are grievous, man. Because Esau, either anything he put into play when it comes to the officials, the government officials, is more and more to bringing harm or total control when it comes to the as they look at the people as goyim, cattle, worthless eaters, okay? Because at the same time as they want to implement the NWO and Karatma people, okay, they want to cut off people as well, okay, by their sword, okay? So we starting to see more and more as these so-called crises or these events that are taking place, okay, that majority of them are orchestrated, that they want to bring forth more of these decrees, which the scripture says they are unrighteous. That's why the Lord said, woe unto them. Because eventually the Heavenly Father and the Son is going to put an end to Esau Edom rulership, okay? And as he on his ego trip, spewing his madness, man. But before the Lord put an end to Esau Edom, he going to allow Esau Edom to bring a lot of death, which is the judgment of the Heavenly Father, especially when it comes to you wicked Israelites. But more and more we're seeing the agenda of Esau Edom being pushed. And like I said, they do a lot of it when it comes to these summits, man. Let me get this. Psalms chapter 64, verse 5. They encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune laying snares privately. Yeah, snares mean trap. And privately mean they're doing it behind the scenes. Even though they're being exposed now. Okay, but they coming out boldly saying that they're going to do these things. Okay, when they hold these certain sermons, man. Not sermons, summits. Okay, these gatherings. Okay, these certain forms. Okay, these world organizations that come together and speak of certain events that can take place, and now they got the solution for them. Okay, and when the faces you see, they're less luminary ones. They juiced in, but these elites, the higher ups, are behind it, man. Okay, but they being exposed now. So it's to the point that hey, they don't care if they put it out there. They blatantly coming out now saying that we about to enter into an NWO, which we in that stage now. We in that time now. But they're going to even furthermore intensify, okay, to the point they're going to introduce that MOTB. And we starting to see the stage set for that. And it says, they encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? Okay, yeah, because they don't think the Heavenly Father going to see them, man. They think the Lord doesn't exist due to their pride, their technology. Okay, they think that they can defeat the Heavenly Father and His Son by putting up their space programs, weapons out of space, their advanced weapons. They think they're going to have their foot upon us forever. They think we're never going to rise. They puff at us as we raising up, awakening, saying that we the Israelites and they're going down. That our power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the God of the Bible and His Son, is going to take them out of rulership. They don't believe that, because that's the Lord hardening them, they mind, through their pride, man. Okay? Just for them to be disappointed. But in the process of time, before leading up to that, the Lord gonna give them over to that spirit, thinking that they winning. Okay? And it says, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. Yeah, because they get their power from the spiritual demon Satan. Okay, which they're in rulership right now, these Edomites. Okay, which once again is the left hand side, okay, the left hand energy of the Heavenly Father and His Son. Okay, that got Esau Edom in a trick bag. Okay, so doing these summits and, you know, they hold certain rituals, blood sacrifice, okay, to offer to these false idols or these false gods, these idols, these demons on the left hand side, man, which is their witchcraft, their enchantments. Okay, they give them power and they conjure up these demons, these spirits, man. Okay, and they push it forth through the media, entertainment, commercialize. Okay, especially when now talking on the subject with the MOTB. Okay, how they're going to endorse that and make it seem that it's a good thing. It's the next way of life, quick, fast, and, you know, easy, more acceptable. But with that going to come a limitation of what you can and what you can't do. As they building up these smart cities, 15-minute cities. Okay, like I say, biometric, surveillance. Okay? So that's done. Okay? It says the thought, and the inward thought of them, every one of them is deep, man. But the Lord got them in a trick bag. Let me get this real quick. And that's why us in the faith, okay, know that Yahweh Shem Yahushua eventually got them set up. What that's with Job 12 and 16. With him is strength and wisdom. This is going into the Heavenly Father and the Son. Okay, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua. And it says, with him is strength and wisdom, and the deceive and the deceiver are his. So the Heavenly Father set Esau Edom up to be the deceiver, okay, that deceiving people. And in all actuality, Esau Edom is being deceived through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Okay, even though he get his power off the left-hand side of the Heavenly Father, okay, and through his Son. But they're being deceived, okay, because Satan worked for the Heavenly Father and his Son. Okay, as we like to say, a double agent, okay, that having Esau deceiving through his pride that he's going to eventually rule, okay, forever. But now we come into his bound that he cannot pass, okay. Matter of fact, let me get Job chapter 14, verse 5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, with who? The Heavenly Father and his Son. And the Esau Edom days are determined. And we're witnessing that now. And it says, thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So it's going to come upon a time that Esau Edom is going to be stopped. Okay? Especially when they implement that MOTB. Okay, like our apostles, bishops, and elders, you know, say, especially, you know, Apostle Hall, he always make mention, when they implement that MOTB, that one thing is going to move quicker. Okay, because the nuclear missiles ain't going to fly till that MOTB is implemented and majority of the world or the people receive it. And once again, Revelation chapter 14, verse 9, is the penalty of those that take it. Mainly our people, or Negro, Latino, Native American descent, you Israelites. Okay? This is Job chapter 20, verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth? The triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. And that's Esau Edom. So this isn't nothing but a moment in the eyes of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua when it comes to Esau Edom rulership. Okay? So his time is short. And once again, Revelation 12 and 12, he coming with that great wrath. Because he know he had but a short time left. So that's it on that. And us that's in the faith, the Lord give us the insight through the Spirit and through the men that he set up through the Spirit, through the ministry, okay, to give us the understanding that Esau, Edom is the wicked. And this whole wicked, evil intentions, man, okay, what he want to bring, especially when it comes to you Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, us, man, okay, but the Lord going to deliver the elect, okay, the Lord going to lift up a standard, man, okay, and right now the Lord giving the elect men, okay, starting with the elect men, the understanding of the prophecies of what's to come, so we can be aware, and not only to be aware, to go out there and give warning, okay. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. And it reads, lest Satan should get an advantage of us. And like I make mention, Satan, okay, it is a spiritual demon, Satan, but Esau, Edom do their bidding on the left-hand side, okay. Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. But that's, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, I'm going to get straight to the point. Verse 9. And it says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. And that's Esau, Edom. Okay? Coming after the spiritual demon Satan on the left-hand side of the Heavenly Father and his Son. So we know that. Us that's in the faith. So we're not ignorant when it comes to Esau, Edom agendas. And that he's pushing on the forefront, man. Okay, that we're in the time of them want to implement the MOTB. Okay? Hey, anything before he do it, the scriptures already got him covered. Okay? Because the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. Okay? The Lord gave him the authority. The Lord ruled over Esau, Edom. Like I say, through the spiritual demon Satan. So it says, 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And that's especially going into his NWO and what they want to do now. So like I said, the Most High gave him over, or giving him the power. Let me see if I can find that in Job. What the Lord said when men is on here we go. This is Job chapter 33, verse 14. And it says, for Yahweh speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceive it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep fall upon men, and in slumbering upon the bed, then he opened the ears of men and sealed their instructions, that he may withdraw men from his purpose and hide pride from men. And that's going into Esau, Edom as well, man. All men, okay, men, women, and children, that Yahweh Shem Shai create and control, man. Okay? The Lord works on the mind of men. So there's no different from these elites when it comes to the spiritual demon Satan on the left-hand side of the Heavenly Father and his Son. Okay? So that's the point I wanted to get. Once again, the deceiver and the deceived are his. Okay? And right now, 2/3 of our people are deceived. And just as us, the hopeful elect, the prophets, the Lord give us the instructions when it comes to this ministry to go out there and teach. And that's why we always say through the Spirit when it comes to teaching. Okay? Things that we receive when it comes to the truth or to the ministry, the Lord gave it to us by the Spirit. Okay? Let me see. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get something real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 34, verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail. Going into the prophecies, okay, which is written in the Holy Bible, which is our heritage for you Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, us the Israelites. Okay? And it says, no one of these shall fail, meaning the prophecies. No shall want her mate, meaning no philosophy or doctrine Okay, outside of this word of Yahweh Shem Shai is not going to compare to what Yahweh Shem Shai says. And okay, when it comes to the scriptures, okay, not Christianity, not Roman Catholicism, not Islam, not Egyptology, all these false doctrines ain't going to compare to the words of Yahweh Shem Shai, especially when it comes to prophecies. Okay, and the Lord gave the prophets, okay, the word to go out there and teach and rightly divining it. Okay, those that's truly sincere. Okay, and it says, none shall want her mate, for my mouth it had commanded, and his spirit had gathered them. So it's the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, that give us the understanding. Start with the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and the brethren on down. Okay, and it says, verse 17, he had cast a lot for them, and his hand had divided it unto them by line. And that's the prophets, because the prophets are back here today in their lot. Okay, the scripture says the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. Okay, and every prophet's got his measure when it comes to this ministry to go out there and teach. But the thing about it, the company of prophets is going to be on one accord, especially when it comes to the elect. Okay, and it says, and they shall possess it forever, from generation to generation shall they dwell therein. Okay, that's starting with the prophets. Okay, the elect. They're eventually going to be delivered right along with the 1/3. And when Yahweh Shai established the kingdom. But let me finish the, get ready to close out. Let me get this. And we constantly tell our people not to trust Esau, Edom, man. But once again, this word is for the elect. 2/3 of our people, they're going to go ahead and just as they take that jungle juice, and they're going to bow down and submit to take that MOTB. Okay, under certain circumstances, man. Certain circumstances. And you got false prophets out here not giving that stern warning. Okay? This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. And it says, never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And you clearly see that about Esau Edom. Okay, Esau Edom history proves that he's not your friend. Okay, how he enslaved the Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and the bloodshed he caused. And we furthermore doing to this day. Okay, and we still want to do in the future. And we give you that warning, man, not to trust him. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. Yeah, I got this, the MOTB, this is the next way of life. Okay? Yeah, you see how the world all jacked up. Okay? Look all these events, unexpected events. Okay, that lead into calamity, turmoil. Okay, but you trusting this system. Okay? And you're going to be good. Okay? That's how they're going to control the narrative. And they did that in 2020. And it says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet to take good heed, and beware of him, that thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Yeah, you got to pay attention to Esau Edom. And you do that by measuring the times and also taking heed to the prophets that's giving them the warning, that's giving warning, okay, about Esau Edom and his agenda and how it's going to lead to judgment if you conform, especially when it comes to you taking that MOTB. And it says, set him not by thee, lest when he overthrow thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at thy last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Okay, and that's what we telling our people, man. Don't give your trust into Esau Edom through the system and what he want to bring. Okay, but for our people that are going to take heed, hey, it's gonna be too late for a lot of them, man. Okay, when it comes to the 2/3, they're gonna be pricked. Okay, cause they ain't gonna have no excuse, cause the Lord got his man out there at this time. Cause the Lord gonna eventually remove us, man. When it comes to the famine of the word, removing his word off the internet, the street ministry, okay, the prophets off the highways and byways. Okay, so we've been telling them, okay, starting with the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and brothering on down. Okay, so ain't gonna be no excuse. Ain't gonna be no I didn't know. Okay, and it says, verse 13, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpent, or any such as come nigh a wild beast? Yeah, because you playing with the serpent, man. Okay, Esau Edom come with the characteristics of a serpent on the left-hand side, man. Okay, to get you the gradualism, conditioning you to take that MOTB. Okay, so when you take it, hey, ain't nobody gonna have pity. Okay, especially us are the hopeful elect. Cause we looking for you, how about Shema Shah, to have the covering of us, man. And when people take that MOTB, they're gonna receive a grievous sore. Okay, and eventually gonna be destroyed by the missiles. And it says, so one that is goeth to a sinner and defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. And that's Esau Edom, man. For you Negro, Latinos, Native Americans. He don't give a damn about you. He's our enemy. An enemy speaks sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagines how to throw thee into a pit. Yeah, all those smooth words, they get up on the podium, okay, and then put it on their media outlet, their news, okay, it's smooth words. Okay, but soon it's going to come to the point of draconian measures out of fear, okay? Dictatorship, okay, tyranny, okay? And it says, but if he find opportunity, he would not be satisfied with blood. And Esau Edom have plenty of opportunities now with all these crises that they making up, by the way, okay? They have people to submit. And it says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. Yeah, because here all these, he's saying he had a solution and all these crises and, happening. But he the one that caused of them, man. Okay, plenty of videos of them being exposed that they the reason why things are happening, a certain crisis. Okay, but then he can turn around and say that, it's unexpected. But now we got the solution. Okay, bow down to this. Take this. Okay? If not, these are the consequences. Strict legislations, man. Okay? And it says, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his consciousness. Yeah, and that's when he gonna get you. After he got you, okay, taking that jungle juice, or you take that MOTB, okay, then he gonna know that he got you, man. Okay, through his words, his deceivingness, and throughout the fear. Okay? But once again, us that's in the faith of the hopeful elect, we're not ignorant to Satan's devices. And Yahweh Shema Shah is going to be our covering, man. And we have to believe that. Let me end off with Romans. Because this is the time now. While the Lord have his men available and his word being pushed. Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And it says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Yeah, knowing the time. Knowing the time of Esau, Edom, and their agendas. The scripture says measure the times. Okay, 2nd Esdras chapter 9. Okay, and us that's in the faith and those that's waking up and paying attention to the videos, especially the Men of Great Millstone videos. Okay, it's starting to wake up. Okay, knowing that Esau, Edom got an agenda. And even amongst these other camps, you got certain of these individuals that follow these camps and they start with their heads. They starting to see that things ain't adding up when it comes to the MOTB. They starting to acquire. Okay? Like something ain't right. Okay? That's why a lot of them are flocking to the Men of Great Millstone videos. And that's cool. Okay? That's what we want. Okay? Eventually. Okay? Not just because we're Great Millstone, because we boldly claim that Yahweh Shema Shai is dealing with us, starting with the apostles on down, man. Okay? And eventually the Lord is going to extrapolate his elect from around these other camps, man. And eventually the elect is going to wake up. Okay? To be sealed and to be delivered. And at the same time, us that's in the faith, we pray that we part of that number and to endure. Okay? Because that's all that's going to be delivered, the elect at this time. And this now is what? It's high time to wake out of sleep. Okay? Spiritual slumber. Especially when it comes to the ways of Esau Edom and his whole motive when it comes to his agenda of his NWO and then implementing that MOTB to bring forth a new digital system. Because the ones of our people that take it, once again, Revelation chapter 14, verse 9, is going to be their fate. Okay? And it says, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. And knowing that Esau Edom moving rapidly, okay, with his NWO, we that close, okay, that our salvation is nearer than what we believe, man. So I'm going to go ahead and end the lesson here. And I pray that the lesson be edifying. Until the next time, I'm going to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Chodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone. And also salutation to the brothers out there in the ministry, the company of prophets, and also the believers that scatter worldwide, that's in the faith and exalting the names of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Chodash, in all truth and sincerity, day in and day out. Until the next time, Lord willing, Shalom to the elect. Shalom.